Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to another special edition of Women's History Month, hashtag Choose to Challenge. And I am so honored to have the amazing Alexa Oliva here from Florida, Miami, Florida, actually. Alexa, how's it going?
It's going really hot down here and everything's back to normal, unfortunately, or fortunately, right? I mean, fortunately, because we're going back to normal, but unfortunate that it's already normal and we're not there yet.
I understand. So, Alexa, why don't we just get right into it and tell our listening audience a little bit about you, what's going on in your world, what's new and exciting happening for Alexa?
Well, my name is Alexa Oliva, and yes, you could say, "Hey, Alexa, turn on the lights." I listen sometimes. Those things don't ever work right. We catch ourselves doing the most amusing things when we're talking to our virtual assistants of Google, Siri, Alexa, all these things.
Yes.
But anyway, so my background is in marketing and advertising. I went to University of Miami, which I'm totally proud of because I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. Also, the first American born, and so that was exciting. So it was a lot of firsts for my parents, who immigrated from Colombia when they were in their early 20s to New York, of all things, in the late 60s. So that was very interesting for them. And so we moved to Miami in 1973. So technically I'm a Miamian, still live down here in South Florida, sunny South Florida. It's always sunny. It's always hot. It's always humid. In 1987, I met a very interesting individual who changed my life forever and told me that he wanted to change the lives of 100 million people in a positive way. And I was like 20 years old the day he said that. And I was like, wow, this guy's crazy. So I married him. And today we're still married. So over 3 decades with the same man, we have 3 incredible children who are now all adults and they still love mom and dad. And of course, my life revolves around getting to spend as much quality time as I can with them, which is difficult when they're starting off their lives as new adults. But I also enjoyed myself prior to COVID by traveling around the world with my husband, who's an international speaker. And I do video. I'm known as the video person. I love doing video, always been into video. And I found out recently that we have 5 generations on my dad's side of the family of video and picture loving and profession. So I guess that's why I've always been into it. And I didn't know until recently why.
You came by it naturally.
Absolutely. It's always been a part of my life since the day that I was born. My dad was with those old 8mm capturing footage in Queens, New York, as his first baby girl was being born. And my son has always been a part of our video division of our business, which is BOA Studios. And he's taken it. And I told him, now you're 5th generation in this, baby. And he's flying away with that.
That's fantastic. I see you have Social Friday behind you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Ooh, this is so much fun. Social Friday is something that we were thinking about prior to pandemic, but pandemic kind of said, hey, you have to do it now. And so I've been to a lot of Zooms and webinars and conferences and all this stuff that people are doing online. And I find myself drifting away, not paying attention. These people are boring or they don't know how to put it together. And there's, I'm just like, wow, people, come on, remember live events, how they're supposed to be. But then I remember live events and I'm like, some people don't do those right either. I've been to thousands of them. And so for all the experience that my team has acquired of going to these events, both live and virtual, we've been in the virtual platform for 6 years already doing Zoom. So we thought, why don't we put together a powerful program where people can really come, have a good time, really connect, really learn things, and really get value out of it, right? And so that's what Fridays is all about. We get together once a month on Friday. Our next one is going to be April 2nd. And so we get together for about 90 minutes total, and we play games, and we have a sponsor that does some giveaways, and we have our power partners that are there to share and connect with people and kind of, just make sure that people are welcomed, and that they're getting involved and active and listening to great music that just totally moves us. And that's what Social Fridays is all about.
I love that. And that leads us to, because you're, as part of Social Friday, like you said, you're creating this environment. Individuals are able to, I see you have your little puppy there.
Yes. You're in a household, he does not listen.
Where individuals are able to engage and celebrate each other. And that leads us into Women's History Month and what's happening around the world. I mean, globally at this point in time, it seems like unlike any other time, women are really rising up and celebrating themselves. And if you could just take me through your own personal journey and thoughts, what does this mean to you when we say, we're recognizing Women's History Month? Why is that so important?
Let me tell you, I've been in business for almost 30 years now, right? And when I first started almost 30 years ago, my husband and I started an agency. And so for a very long time, I went by the name Alexa Oliva. Why? Because my maiden name, my brother used to also work with us when we started our business. And so I didn't want to use his name. I couldn't use my husband's name. So I used my mother's maiden name. Now, the reason for that is because a lot of times we had clients that would say, "Oh, Bert, because your little wife over here." And I'd be like, "What do you mean your little wife? What are you talking about? I got a degree. I got experience. I have talent. And why are you telling me the wife? I'm here because I want to be and because I deserve to be here, not because I'm the wife." So that's one of the reasons that I used it. And men made you feel horrible. And another thing that always influenced me a lot, and I hated so much, was when I would go to networkers to build my business and men would shake your hand and almost break your wrists. They have these death grips or they shake it really hard. And I was always like, what is your problem? You don't need to prove your manliness to me. I'm a woman. Treat me like a woman. I'm okay. It's my character, not my physical, strength that we're here to talk about, and to introduce each other. So those were just some of my pet peeves, being a woman in business. I didn't want to be it didn't matter that I was a woman. It doesn't matter. That didn't make a difference that I was someone's mom, someone's sister. And what mattered was that I was there to do business, legit business, good business, honest business. And that's why I wanted to be there. Love
it. So let's now go into choose the challenge, because I sense a little edginess in you, and you seem like you will, if they don't have a seat at the table, like Shirley Chisholm said, you'll bring your own chair and show up, right?
So, absolutely. Or I'll sit on the floor behind it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be at that table, whatever it takes.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you've in business and maybe even life as a woman have had to stand up and challenge the status quo.
You're always challenging it because it's been embedded in us, especially the older ones of us, that it's a man's world. But how is it a man's world when we're the women bringing them into the world? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. Absolutely not. I mean, we're still paying the bills. We're still raising the kids. We're still going out there, and we can do everything that a man can do, and most of the time better, in my opinion. But, the physical strength of them. And so they're trained, their brains are developed because of the old time on how to do certain things that we weren't able to. And it's not that we're not able to do this, that we weren't trained. We weren't groomed to do those things. And physically, yes, there are, differences between us. They're much more physically stronger than we are. And, we're mentally and emotionally stronger than they are. So I think it equals out. And it is a challenge because, especially from my culture, my parents' culture, since they are immigrants, our culture in Colombia was the woman stays home, the whole world is about men. It's very, what we say in Spanish, machista. Lots of, oh my gosh, I can't even translate that right now, but mucho macho,
yes.
And so that male mentality of you serve your man, which It's not bad. I mean, I love serving my man as a woman, but as long as he's respecting me, not, disrespecting me. And I think that's one of the things that I have learned, in all these years of being married is I love being a woman for my man. And everything that entails from looking pretty, from serving him, from whatever. And then of course I expect the protection, the nature of what a man is supposed to represent in my life. And so I think that a lot of women forget that. And I think that's why a lot of relationships fail. It's because your roles aren't clear what that means. Woman doesn't mean weak. Woman is strong and beautiful and can get all those goals and everything. But just remember that you must present yourself to that other person as well. And so that you have that mutual respect and consideration for each other.
I love that. And I want to just pause right here and dive a little bit deeper into that. So let's talk about that feminine energy, because often when we are in corporate or in our own business lane, we're in our masculine energy, and we tend to bring that into relationships, and it creates a lot of friction, and we're concerned because we're not being understood. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Bringing your masculine energy, that's fine. But the problem is that people, the communication gets lost, because bringing your masculine energy doesn't mean you got to behave masculine. That's not what it means when you're doing business. I can be a woman and I can be strong, but I could still be a woman. And it doesn't mean that I got to go in either direction of, flaunting myself or representing myself like a man. It doesn't mean any of that. What is the goal that you want? When you show up somewhere, I think that you need to bring that energy that you want to represent. And a lot of people are scared to bring that energy with them. And that's one of the things that I think I've learned in the last 5 years. I came from 275 pounds of, I'm a mom, it doesn't matter. I'm building my business, I'm building my brain, I'm building my bank account, and everything else doesn't matter, to, okay, I raised my children, now it's about me. So I lost 100 pounds and I dyed my hair and I do my nails and I wear jewelry but I haven't lost my power. I think it's even stronger now, because now I'm bringing the feminine power with me everywhere I go, and just learning that it doesn't matter if you don't agree with me. Chemistry is not going to happen with every single person that you meet. You put out that chemistry, and the people that are attracted to that particular chemistry is what you're going to attract. So I remember my mom telling me that many, many, many years ago, everyone's not going to love you, but those that love you, make sure they love you strong and you love them back. And I think that was one of the most important lessons that my mom ever taught me.
That's beautiful. I love that. And that's so true. Sometimes as women, we have our eyes set on a certain situation or person, mm-hmm. and we're trying to mold them and make them fit into our world, when maybe that's not what it's meant to be. So it's about allowing, and like you said, be true to yourself, put out the love, put out the right energy, and you will in turn attract that which is meant for you.
Ever since I've had that mental shift of that energy and what I do want in my life, not what I deserve. Okay, because everybody thinks they deserve everything. We've been sold on that. You deserve. Who says you deserve anything? And that's why we have a generation of entitled children. No, you don't deserve anything. You work for it. In the same way, you work your energy to attract what you're putting out there. You cannot get something if you're not giving something. The law does not allow you to do that. You need to put out positive energy if you want to receive positive energy. If you're putting out bland energy, you're going to get bland out of life. If you're putting out angry energy, you're going to get anger out of life, And so if you're putting out love out of energy, you're going to get love in your life. And that's one thing. Bert and I, a couple of years ago, I said, you know what I want love in my life. I want to be surrounded by people that love me all the time. And it was the funniest thing. Bert and I could not believe it actually happened, because I was like, okay, so every time I hung up the phone with someone that year, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, every single person told me they loved me. Oh, Alexa, I love you. Oh, Alexa, I love you. Okay, bye, love you. And Bert and I would just look at each other. We're like, wow. I mean, sometimes they were just people I just met. And I was like, wow, Putting out love works. Putting out passion works. Putting out what you want to receive in life really works. That's the real law of attraction right there. It's not you're going to attract it because you're thinking of it. No, you got to put that energy into everything that you're doing in your life, and you will receive those things. That thing that people are always saying, it really works. Look, I'm getting chills just talking about it. It really works. What you put out, you receive. So don't think you're going to put something out and receive something else. That's not how it works.
I love that. And that's so true. You do have to get your energy and emotion behind you. And so many people, women, they do the vision boards and the affirmations, and they're wondering, well, why am I stuck? Well, you're just going through the motions. There's no commitment. There's no true intention being set where you feel it in your core, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember giving a speech on that core like 8 years ago in Belize. And it was all about core and how you tap into your core, because when your core is not set, then you're not going to get the results that you want in your life. And for me, it's very specific because I have severe spinal issues. Mm. And so that's another, for health reasons, is also another reason why I lost the weight, because my spine could not take that heavy weight anymore. And one of the things that I love to do now, and I know it sounds crazy, I love working on my core when I'm doing my exercises, but it's because of my back issues. Because if my core is in tip-top shape, my back hurts less. And that's the same thing. Your internal core, your soul, your gut, your intuitions, when those are strong, it just radiates out. And so yes. Core is everything. I love that you brought it up.
So let's talk about, this is the 101st anniversary here in the U.S. For women's right to vote. The National Association of Women wanted to extend the celebration into 2021 due to the pandemic. And when we think about our right to vote, one of the things that I've noticed is history paints what the writers wanted us to see, which
Absolutely.
Was women at the front. But they overlooked the Hispanic women, the African American women, the Asian American women, and the Native American women who were girding up the effort. It was not just the white women that did all of this. But when the women won the right to vote in 1920, look how many years before our cultures benefited from it, to the fact that even Native Americans, and this actually shocked me, Alexa, it was in the 1980s where anti-discrimination voting practices were written off the books for Native Americans in the 80s. So knowing that and knowing how important it is for us as women to express our voice, what do you have to say about that?
Having the right to vote is such an intensive and beautiful thing. And it is a lot of people call it a privilege, but I don't want to say that it's a privilege. It should be the law of the land, but unfortunately there's lots of countries in our world that still don't allow women to vote. I mean, Saudi Arabia just let women vote only in 2015, which is not that long ago, and it's like I said before, how can we not have a voice when we bring life into this world? And I don't see in my brain and the way I was brought up, I can't comprehend the fact that someone would think that our voices don't matter, that our intentions don't matter, that our lives don't matter, that our opinions don't matter. And, I think that, I know it's crazy. I want world peace. I want equality for everyone. I know these are very crazy things, but I really believe in that. And that's one of the, fairness, living a life that's just, that we get to make an opinion on. When we bring life into this world, why shouldn't we have that opinion? Why should we let other people guide us? Why should I make decisions for what I want or don't want in my life? I need to choose what I want in my life. If I want to be the vice president of the United States, I should have the right to be the vice president of the United States or any country. I think it should be the other way around. We should be the ones ruling the world, not the men, right? Let them do the labor. We'll rule the world. But in all fairness and all that, we're the ones that care about life more as women. And I think there would be less war if more women leaders, because we value life more, in my opinion. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. But that's what I believe. I think that we value life more as people that bring in life. Whether you have a child or not, those emotions are still inbred in us as women. So it doesn't matter. We are emotionally more connected. Whether we're bringing life or not, women are more grounded, in my opinion, to the world. And that might be what's wrong with some of our world, right? The fact that it's backwards and that it originated backwards just because they were physically stronger than us. And then, going back to the emotional state of it, I think that there are just too many drama queens in our world. And that's what makes us lose. Like they say, save the drama for your mama. Don't bring it up, in business. Don't bring it up in your relationships. And I think that if we could just be level-headed, save the crying for when you go into the car, save the crying when you're all alone, save the crying for the bathroom. But when you're bringing it to business, when you're bringing it to politics, when you're bringing it to the things that matter, you know what? Suck it up, buttercup, like they say.
Yeah.
Because that just makes us lose in the end. So that's what I have to say on it. I could be completely wrong, but those are just the crazy thoughts that, shoot through my brain sometimes.
And I don't see it as wrong. I see it as this, that's your truth, and that's what you're standing in, and you're able to influence from that seat of truth, from that seat of authenticity. And that's what I hope all women are able to do. So I'm going to turn it over to this last, and I think the most important question in this whole interview is, what woman most influenced you in your life and why? And then I'd like you to end with a lasting word that you'd like to share with the audience and how they can get a hold of you.
Of course. Well, the woman that I feel that has influenced me the most in my lifetime is a lady called Ilanka Herezi. She's still alive. She's still my mentor. I still look up to her. And she is the inventor of Tesla technology, which were like these watches that had like 2 layers, that they did it with Philip Stein. And it was one of Oprah's favorite things of all time. But that's not why I love her. That's just her history. But the way that she looks at life and the intentions that I've always seen her do, the way that she's always gone out there and worked with villages and worked with the untouchables and created projects and sent so many ideas and so many different things that we worked in when the Haiti got really hit about 10 years ago.
Yes.
Her heart is the biggest heart I've ever met in my life, but she's in touch with her femininity. She's a very global perspective person. Her perspectives are very global. And when she gets angry like, so she doesn't need bad words or bad thoughts or aggressiveness or anything. She just does it with style. And I'm just like, how does she do that? How does she do that? Because that's what I want to learn. I want to learn more of that from her. And every time I spend time with her, I learn so much. And, when the day I met her, we actually sat down and we spoke for like 4 hours. It was instant connection. And I've had the opportunity of having met a lot of women that I've had an instant connection and just like, it's there,
Yes.
all these, there's a lot of special women in my life. And, but this one is definitely the one that has influenced me the most. And she's changed my perspective in the world. I go to her when I need to talk about issues or challenges or get re-energized. Just being around her energizes me more than anything. And unfortunately year before last, we almost lost her, and it was a battle. I mean, literally a battle. And I was terrified because I was there in the hospital room with her when the doctors came in and told her, okay, you're done. And she got up. And today it's like nothing happened. She's so incredible. I just saw her last month. She was in Miami. I saw her. And, you know, someone that I saw them with my own eyes. Doctors were telling me that's it. She's done. And now she's traveling around the world, doing her thing, saving lives. I mean, just wow. She's amazing. And everything she does it out of love from her heart, from her soul. And you can see it.
I heard something a few years ago and I loved it. And they said, just because doctors give you a certain diagnosis, always remember that man's medicine hasn't caught up with God's miracles.
Oof. I love that. I love that. That's incredible. Absolutely.
So tell us how our audience can get in touch with you and connect with all the great and wonderful things Alexa is doing.
The easiest way of getting in touch with me is you can go to www.meetalexa.com. I couldn't make it any easier.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, and that'll get you any information. I'm very good at returning phone calls and connecting with people. I may not do it right away in case I'm out of town or in business meetings or with my family time, but I always try to get back to every single person that ever contacts me. I think it's essential because I hate it when I contact someone and it goes into, you know, I don't know where land and they never return a phone call and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't had 30 seconds to do anything. I'm like, come on, seriously? You couldn't take 10 seconds to send a text message? Right. So I believe in respect, in mutual respect. So anybody that gets in touch with me, if they took a moment out of their time to get in touch with me, I'm going to make sure I give them a moment back to get in touch with them. And so, I want to invite everybody, join us in Social Friday, April 2nd. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please connect with me. And for my last words, like you asked me, is what I believe in always. It's live and love. Because if you're not loving, you're not living.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Alexa, for joining us. And to our listening audience, you've heard here, Women in History, #Choose a Challenge with Oliva. Please reach out, contact her, get to know some of the amazing things that she's doing. Rub shoulders with some of the best. That's what this platform is about, is highlighting and spotlighting women who are making a difference, women who are a living history. Think about that. So with that, always, as we say, love yourself, embrace yourself, and whatever you do, always celebrate you. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.